everybody, and welcome back to the Strategic Feminine here on YouTube. And of course, we like to focus on all things feminine, all things girly, all things womanly in essence. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. I am doing a versus for you guys, and this is going to be SixtheGoddis versus Keita Rose and Randy from today's conversation. Now, honestly, I'm going to focus a lot of these efforts on Six because she handled this situation with poise and elegance and how a strategist should. So I'm going to go ahead and show y'all and dissect a little bit of the issues and the drama, because Keita Rose has also been having her own controversy over the last few weeks, and I want to dissect it for you guys and my audience as well.
Person that when I'm going through something, I like to hold it in. Like, I don't want to do too much. I just want to sit back and heal. Sit back and
whatever. But then finally when I'm looking around and I'm like, no, this isn't my fault. Yeah, I could have been smarter with that move, but the way that he meticulously puts everything together fucks you up financially so bad to where you're like, oh, can I, I'm only gonna work one more year, so I get myself out of debt. I can honestly say now, 2025, I'm debt free. I worked so hard to get debt free.
I worked so hard to get debt free and be away from this man. And I tried to spare a lot of people. I got co-workers writing me saying, don't do this, because they don't want to lose their job, and I don't want them to. She trying to get $500,000. Nah, bitch, you owe more. So I want y'all to see
I do want to say it's a huge accomplishment for Keita Rose to now be debt-free. I also want to say poor working environments, people that are setting us up financially, stop working for underpayment, understand your worth, and get everything on contract, on paper, on black and white. So that way, when you're dealing with people, you don't have to have these dusty stories of someone ain't pay you because you was doing a homie hookup and some got messed up in translation. So Keita Rose, if you do not know, she first went viral 3 years ago for TikToks. She's always been a very abrasive woman, very loud, combative. That is her personality. That is her typecast. And that is who her persona has been online. She was on the Today's Conversation, and that was a pretty big podcast, especially for the time. They were doing tours, and these tours consisted of mostly black people coming, buying tickets, sitting in the seats, and asking these 6 black commentary and content creators questions about relationships, finance, emotional restraint and control, and for the most part, co-parenting and stuff like that. So I will say this was a pretty good platform, and I don't think that it was as degenerate as some of the other platforms we have here on BlackTube. But I do think that overall, how some of the women chose to handle this opportunity really was on them, and they didn't really do what they could have. They didn't really do their due diligence, I'll say. So Keita has not been paid. Ace of the Today's Conversation, he hasn't been paying people. I also noticed that the Today's Conversation hasn't been doing as many tours, so the money may be slowing down in more areas than one. So Keita is going off. She went off on Kitty, who is also a co-host of hers, dark-skinned, mild-mannered, beautiful girl, and she's basically airing out everyone's dirty laundry and going out on crash-out tours. You want to know something? She got it for you on live because she don't got a job right now, so she's laying up, telling everybody's business. Now, personally, I don't respect that as a personality type. I'll go into that why sooner, but I definitely think that it's distasteful that she has issues with the whole show. So now she's going to do a whole exclusive for y'all for free on Instagram because she hasn't been paid, and it only makes her as a professional look bad. It doesn't make anyone else look bad. It doesn't make Six look bad. It doesn't make Kitty look bad. They're still going to be able to get jobs, okay? You're the one whose personal persona looks shoddy and combative, and no one's going to want to work with you.
Old Poochie with Shitty Rose. Please, can you let me know what's her ex-husband? I gotta talk to the ex-husband because and the only reason, I just want to see if it's true. I just want to see if it's true. If it's a lie, it's a lie. If it's not, it's not. I just want to talk to the ex-husband. I just want to see because she says he abused her, beat her ass, and that might have happened. And if that happened, that is not okay. I do not stand for that. But if that didn't happen and she was the one that beat his ass, I wonder if he could be entitled to some compensation. I know a lot of you think I'm jealous. But I tell you something right now. This ripe peach I got between this chomper, this motherfucker, I ain't got nothing to be jealous about. I ain't never sold it. It might not be free. I ain't never sold it. I ain't never sold it. That's a damn truth. I ain't never sold it.
Look at the pure projection in this one clip alone. She lies on SixtheGoddis and says that she's had sex with her co-host. And now she's trying to claim that her other co-host sells coochie on the side, which that would completely be Keedy Rose's business. I thought we were all for supporting women and being girls. But as I spoke about in my last live stream about, the stripping and sex work entirely, women will sit here and think that they're better than the next woman because they're not using their bodies to get money. Whole time they're complaining about being in a financial rut themselves. The jokes write themselves, y'all. I don't even have to do anything. I just come on here and tell y'all the news, and it just seems like the clown shows always come and they always want to sit here and prove me right. If you are in a financial rut, you should not be worrying about how the next woman takes care of her family, whether it aligns with your morals or not. Worry about when your next check is going to get here. And that's not being disrespectful. You have to worry about your own plate as a strategist woman. So I'm always going to call out the behavior of weirdo, envious, strange women like this. These are the undesirables we be talking about on my channel. Of the unfortunate predicament that you're in, that gives you the right to air out information about other women that you've texted, that you were friends with, that you were co-workers with online, and you also are aware that you have a big social following. I don't respect that. I can never respect that. So I think that Keita is doing exactly what she's always done. She's been emotional. She's been combative. And that energy is playing out in her entire life, even in her being fired or quote unquote let go or separated or terminated or whatever you want to say. It's still the fact of the matter is how you handle things, your emotional restraint. That is what you look like as a woman. So her conflict management skills is all the way messed up, okay? She should be, as Six said, suing Ace, and that would help her get her money a lot faster than crashing out online. You're not going to make them give you your money just by damaging the hallway and the foyer. That's not how that works, girl. You're going to actually get your money a lot slower because you're not focusing your efforts where you need to. So Six has actually went on record to say that she has never slept with Ace like Keita had rumored. And she's also claiming that she treated her very poorly when she was a guest on the Today's Conversation. And that the reason why she's crashing out like this is because she treated women very horribly on her show on Ace's behalf. And now he's dropping her like a bad habit.
When a man isn't financially confident, he tends to go for bigger women.
True.
Explain.
So to me, if I'm a guy, I just got out of jail, I got probation fees, I need somewhere to stay, I'm not going to go for a woman who works out 5 days a week and looks good. I'm going to go for the bigger girl. I'm going to say, it's more of a chance that she'll be willing to compromise because deep down inside, she feels like maybe she has to compensate for the lack of the aesthetics.
Respectfully, that's probably the most ignorant shit I've ever heard in my life, bro. So you think because a woman is plus size or out of shape and what she accepts in life and what she should be expected to accept in life is less than because
look what she accept for herself. Because look what she accept for herself. Because look what she accept for herself.
So that takes away from the fact that there's still
they got money for food.
So, but that still takes away. That takes away from the fact that's why motherfuckers don't. That's why we don't like you, bro.
So
that's why we don't like you.
You said it, and it's noted.
Yeah, I just met you today. I didn't know who the fuck you were before we got here.
It's the ignorance. Cussing at me. It's the ignorance. No, baby. So this is what we have a problem.
I'ma do.
You have no problem. You ain't got to cuss at me. You ain't got to be disrespectful. Have I respected you?
Yeah.
So you can do whatever you want, and then what? Then what happens? You do whatever you want. Then what's the next move?
Yeah.
You're not wrong when I retaliate. I have been respectful. I have been respectful towards you. Y'all poke the bear. Then when someone check you like, feminist, you came in here upset.
Yeah, you came in here upset.
Excuse me.
When I tried to say hi.
That. So the correct way for them to handle this would be to say, and you would think, this is how you know that they're the exact type of women that I be talking about, which is why they don't like me, the way that they do fuck shit, throw rocks, hide their hands, lie, never apologize, try to do anything they can to avoid any form of accountability. Now, you would think that after them both being fired, unemployed, and Keita crying online because how she gonna make her bills, you would think that they would have that moment to say, you know what? Let's reflect into
the part we played into this, okay? Let's reflect. Let's not sit here and we'll just paint Ace out to the abuser and forget that we were the ones abusing guests as well because we wanted to make sure that we kept our job and we were getting paid. That would be the right way to handle it. But instead, you're doubling down and lying more. And now you're even starting rumors that I slept with Ace. Now, Keita. Now that.
and say, oh my God, I don't like big girls.
She literally, they have to lie and say these things because they're trying to find a way to justify their actions towards me because they know they looking kind of crazy over here. Talk about they was abused. Girl, you was not abused, honey. You are the abuse, okay? Ace would send you to do the abusing. So now they have to resort to lying to try to justify their treatment toward me, baby. Just, girl, you making this so hard. Just be like,
you know what? I was wrong. And me being in an environment and needing my money, I was selfish. I just wanted my money. I didn't care about who I hurt. And that's the real reason why you're crashing out over not getting paid, because you sold your soul. See, had you not sold your soul, you could have handled that in a simple lawsuit and got your money like that. But you have to crash out and do all this because you're angry, because it's like, what? I sold my soul for you. I was your pit bull. I was your bully. I disrespected people for you. I did all that. And then you're going to fire me and you're not going to pay me. That's why she's responding like this, y'all. And that's why, but see, once again, I ain't no hater. So I'll be the one to say she deserved to get paid. You might have told me that I didn't deserve basic human respect because of something I did. But I will say that right is right and wrong is wrong. You need to get paid because you sure was a full-blown pit bull. And then there's comments like this. Once again, the colorist undertones that I be talking about. The first thing they're going to always say is masculine. Her goal the whole time was to discredit me because how dare this chocolate girl be looked at as a femininity coach? How dare she be the favorite? And that's all I'm going to say about.
Part of me wonders, were there some type of cohort worker, flirtation going on behind the scenes, and that added to the dynamic being as hostile as it was? Because when I look at the video with Keita and Randy, they definitely seem to be ganging up on Six, which I don't understand. I completely, and actually, let me take that back. I understand exactly why Randy and Keita were ganging up on Six, the goddess. Because when you look at Six, the goddess, she's beautiful. She is fit. She is feminine, and honey, she is definitely friendly. And y'all may not like that saying, but that's genuinely who she is as a person. She's a traditional woman. She's very fashionable, poised and elegant when she speaks. And her conflict management and problem and solution skills are A1. Those are personal traits that are good. Those are good traits in a person. And you see that Keita don't have none of that. Randy doesn't have any of that. And within the meeting or the podcast, Randy does say that's why people don't like you. I do believe that because of Six the Goddess's persona, she speaks out against bigger women or black women being bigger. She does have that type of content on her channel. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. As well as other things. Randy and Keita fit into the strong black woman stereotype bigger and better than even Six the Goddess does. So I just feel like this was natural projection. I think they did research on Six to see who was coming on the show. They saw how she felt about big women and they didn't like it. And I think that they let her come onto the show knowing that they were going to prove a point and trying to embarrass and humble her points by saying, I'm big, I'm bad, and what you going to do about it, basically. That's how I feel about the whole interaction with today's conversation. Now, the afterwards was weird because it's weird how you guys are going to address because you guys were aggressive to this woman. She walked off. She told you not to curse at her, and then she walked off set and said, I'm not going to do this anymore, which was the most feminine thing that you can do in problems or conflicts. You walk away. So no, I don't think anything about Six the Goddess is masculine, which is another weird, humbling tactic that they're trying to use with this pretty dark-skinned girl. Why are you trying to claim that she's masculine when actually you fit into the masculine stereotype a lot better than she does? You yell, you curse, you spit. When you're online, you're hyperventilating, your veins is popping out, you're screaming, you always have your vocals at an elevated tone and octave. You're always mad. Not Six. So I didn't understand that at all. And this just shows you how they try to humble feminine black women all the time. She came on there with her platform. They're trying to act like they don't know who she is when she quite honestly does have a similar field them, like as them, like they're in the same space, giving advice, relationships, conversations, commentary. That's what they do. So why are you acting like you don't know who this woman is? Why are you trying to humble this pretty girl? And then you're trying to make it seem as though she came for you, when indeed you definitely came for her, because you felt some type of way about how she felt about big women. But if that's how you felt, you need to say that 10 toes. Honestly, I don't like you because of how you talk about big girls, and I'm a big girl myself, and you need to back. I would have respected that a little bit more than what they're doing now. So Keita's trying to insinuate that the beautiful Six has to sleep with Ace to get on the show. Is that projection? Did you have to sleep with him to get on the show? I don't know. Like, that just seems like a weird thing to blur out there and to say about someone who is essentially your coworker, a co-host. You don't know them from nowhere, apparently. So that was very weird. Like, I just feel like this whole situation was strange, but I love how Six handled it. She showed the receipts, she showed the VHS tapes and all of that, and she showed exactly what happened, and she explained it. But what she also did that stands out, and she didn't undermine what Keita was going through and make it seem like she didn't have a reason to be upset. All she said was, you're upset at the wrong person, sweetie. You should be getting paid, but I think you should be getting a lawyer. And I respect Six so much for that, because not only did she give her the best advice of her life, no one else was going to tell her that, she also kept it a beam with her. She didn't get emotional with her. And that's how you want to be strategist. You want to remain good at conflict resolution skills. You want to make sure that you're always able to remain poised, even when people are going and batting you with aggression. Because a lot of times they want to bait you with aggression to call you masculine. And sometimes people don't believe that you can handle things and end conversations as a feminine woman. You can. You walked off. I love that for Six. She walked off from today's conversation and she didn't play no games. She left. And that's why when you look back at the videos now and everybody who's explaining it, Six doesn't seem to be bothered or emotional. Why? Because she didn't accept that disrespect back then. Okay? She told the truth. You should have been nicer. And this is my message to Keita. Honestly, I think that if you would have not looked at this with a one-track mind, this podcast, and you would have actually learned from other women, had a good, hospitable environment with your working podcasts and things, I think you actually would have done better than what you happen to do now. She should have really learned from these women, built valuable connections, and networked with Six or other women that would have came on the podcast and remained within sisterhood with them. That way, even if something went down with Ace and he didn't pay and something went down and stuff hit the fan, it's okay because you still have your overall integrity to fall back on. So you're not going to be broke. But because you were nasty and you were a hit dog for folks, now you have to rely on the fact that you don't have no platform. You was defending everyone else's platform with your might. You don't have a platform anymore, and you're pretty nasty. And that nastiness is bleeding through the screen. So that's how I feel. With strategists, what you could do for this situation, if you're ever please don't be a Keita Rose, but you ever are, apologies go a long way. Actually learning and admitting when you're wrong, and actually learning not to let people put batteries in your back. Don't allow for people to give you a false sense of confidence just because they're giving you a seat at the table. You need to have your own table, baby. And that's what I will tell you 110%. Six is cool. Six ain't sitting here worried about getting her last check from Ace. She was paid. And she also gave her audience what they wanted to see. She's expanding and she's doing what she needs to do for her platform. And I think that Keita Rose and Randy were hustling backwards. If y'all wanted to stand up for bigger women, or there was a way to do that with militant poise and tact and actually have good talking points. But the problem is when you're too emotional, Keita Rose, when you're very emotional, when you go off of raw rage and feminine rage, we talk about this all the time, how to harness your feminine rage, right? When you're going off straight feminine rage, you're not going to be as strategic or effective, no matter if you're dealing with professional or personal, no matter if it's social gatherings or a deal. You need to know how to do these things effectively. I also think that Randy tried to humble her, acting like she didn't know who Six was, based off of a mutual disagreement and talking points. I think that they could have actually hashed that out on the Conversations podcast and had a good show. But that's why I don't understand why everybody wants to do commentary. More people are more interested in pushing out their own narrative on their, commentary bag rather than interviewing real people and getting real stories and testimonies. And that's why I don't respect some of these commentary people. How I feel about it, so many of you guys are actually not willing to be good listeners, and it shows in your product. And that's how I feel about Keita. This reminds me of the Ashley Dalton situation where that woman came on her show with Crocs, her hair not done, in a hoodie, trying to humble Ashley on her own platform. It's like, if you don't agree with the talking points, why invite someone onto the show? Why even give them the platform? Why are you participating on their platform and even being seen in the same set as them if you don't believe in what they're saying? And the best thing, if Keita felt some type of way of what SixtheGoddis had to say about bigger girls, you could have just not showed up. Had Ace interviewing her by her damn self. I mean, that's how I would have felt about it if it was that serious and if I was repping for the big girls and it was like that. I just wouldn't have showed up neither, and then you wouldn't have had to get into it with her. But this is what happens when your spot's not secured and you ain't got your own table. Lastly, because I feel like this is the most important thing for my strategists to understand, do not let any party, especially a romantic party, a sexual, thing that you got going on with a man, ever triangulate you into responding harshly or like fighting another girl. Because I feel like with that whole situation, especially I'm going to just break down how I truly feel. I think that Ace brought Six on the show because he wanted to humble Keita about her weight. And instead of him doing that himself, he triangulated the girls. And that's why there was such an emotional reaction, because I do believe it was a setup. Don't ever let a man isolate you from your sisterhood, because that is his number one tactic to keep you on his role, like his payroll, keep you under his thumb, and it's manipulation. And I feel bad for Keita, but I also feel like this is karma, because you were making fun of somebody else in their DV situation, and now you're having to come out about your own abuse. And this is just this is why you need to remain humble. This is why you need to apologize. This is why you become a better person. You have a better character. So that way, even when misfortune happens to you, people aren't like, well, remember when you was... Because this is exactly why having a nasty attitude never wins. Mannered and sensible Black women. So I don't understand why there's always such friction when she seems to be introduced to women with this archetype. But I do want to show y'all a humbling tactics one-on-one of people being mad and jealous because they're not the total package and then not making sense in their talking points. So what else have y'all noticed about this beef? Do you think that weight played a little bit of a role in this conflict? Do you think they were trying to humble SixtheGoddis? Do you think SixtheGoddis came with enough receipts? Do you think that, there's going to be more brewing in the back? And how did you feel about overall this new verses that I had for y'all? But outside of that, thank you so much for listening to my spiel. This has been the Strategically Feminine here on YouTube. But as always, be good people, be holy people, read the word and spread the word, and I'll be back. Bye.